Hello and welcome to the show. Now, the Ford versus Holden rivalry is a truly inbuilt part of Australian motorsport. And you see, a Holden has gone up the snowy mountain. The HDT VK Commodore was very, very quick. It currently sits in 5th place, only 0.8 of a second down on the leading Volvo. A Ford Falcon, though, hasn't gone yet, and seeing as we have a new one to play around with from the latest DLC pack, the 92 Falcon GT, it only seems right to have a go with this up the mountain. I think it certainly stands a decent chance of going quickly, perhaps not beating the Volvo outright, but that's not the most important part, really. We are going to start off by giving the car some snow tyres. We're going to convert it to all-wheel drive, and that will put it halfway through A-Class, which is not too terrible. We will come back to some tyre widths. 2 7.5s at the front is very nice, and 3 1.5s at the rear. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that as far as tyre widths go. We'll grab some Forza Aero while we are here. I've got a kitten bouncing around on my foot who is chasing after an origami dinosaur. Yep, that's my cat. Cass, are you quite finished over there? Can you not disturb me while building it? No? Okay, you're just going to sit on my foot and play with stuff. Sure. My cat likes to play fetch. I'm pretty sure we've got a half kitten, half puppy. He will literally play fetch with just about anything you throw for him. Distraction, I think he's buggered off now, so I guess he's run off with the dinosaur in his mouth, because, yeah, he's a silly cat. Car, yes, what are we doing? Off-road suspension, because we're on snow. What do we do with weight reduction? That is the question. I don't really want the car at £3,800. That is a bit heavy. But equally, I don't want the quite... we'll probably go stick some engine parts in first and then see where we stand. I will put in the roll cage. Oopsie, I meant to press the button. And the anti-roll bars as well. Kitten's come back and knocked into the microphone. Cass, you were being a real pain today. Did you know that? He's not even looking at me at the moment, so... Typical cat. Engine. Yes, I want to keep the standard engine in these cars, of course. Do we go for a twin turbo, or do we go for a supercharger? Now, the supercharger is a little bit heavier. We probably will get more ultimate. Why is this engine? I just noticed the graph reckons it'll go up to 1,800 horsepower. That's ambitious. That is ambitious. I think we're going to go for a supercharger. I'm going to go for a supercharger on this one. Yes, I know the supercharger is a little bit heavier than the turbo and etc. However, we should be able to get plenty of power, and I'm hoping with that, yes, we can get a little bit of weight out of the car. I mean, we are already just at the bottom of S1 class, so let's go stick on these parts. We'll stick on camshafts as well, up to 450 horsepower. Not too shabby. I mean, the Holden was at some 600-ish. Horsepower, and that was with the car's standard engine. This does not look like it's going to get as much power out of the engine, which is a little bit of a shame. Kind of a little bit well, I say a little bit expected, not quite. I was hoping for a little bit more, although this is not it's not bad power at the moment. We are going to have to get some weight reduction on the go. Oopsie, not in there, though. That's not where we found weight reduction. I mean, I found a little bit, but not a huge amount. I think we will go... well, kind of got to go, really, full-on weight reduction with this vehicle. Engine-wise options, I will actually just go have a look, because I did have a quick look before I started building this. Quite a few options on this. 5.2-litre V8, 8.4-litre V10, and the 6.5-litre V12. I wasn't expecting to see the V12 as an option in this car, but there we go. Technically speaking, if I wasn't trying to keep standard engines, I'd probably have a V12 and take out a bit of weight reduction to keep that in S1 class, as that's ludicrous power, but I do want to keep the cars with their standard engine if they can, and this car will get to the top of S1 class, just won't be the most powerful top of S1 class imaginable. And I say that, and we are actually now struggling a little bit for... power. Right, we are really struggling for... That's not Ford. You've let me down. You've let me down indeed. I'm pretty sure we've got all of these bits in here, haven't we? Yeah. Oh, that's a pain. I really wanted to run a supercharged Ford. We'll have a look-see with gearbox. If not, then I probably will end up having to go for V12 and shuffle, essentially. Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to press that button. Come back. No, that's not going to do anything. Right, it's V12 and shuffle parts time, I think. Sorry, Ford. But yeah, that's going to be, I think, the way... Although the V10 does have a lot more torque. So the V10 has 100 more torque. The V12 60 more horsepower, or near enough. The V12 is slightly heavier by about £3. I think we're going to go for V12. We're going to go for V12 in this. It will be naturally aspirated, because I'm not going to have the PI to prat around with other stuff. And then, yeah, we'll go, I guess, back down that stage of weight reduction, and then we'll probably find something in the drive line for that one last bit of PI. We can indeed. A little bit disappointing from the engine. I'll be honest, the Commodore on its standard engine was over 600 horsepower. That was fine, no problems at all. This, yeah, not such a good standard. I say not such a good, I mean, we're talking 500 plus horsepower. However, it's still not great. I'm guessing these are all going to be massive. Okay, not massive amounts of PI, only one, but I think we'll go with how we have the car for now. Well, that is the Commodore. Not Commodore. What am I talking about? The Falcon. Yes, car built. I know what I'm doing with my cars. I don't really know. I think it could be pretty fast. I think it could be pretty fast indeed, although it is a little bit on the heavier side. Maybe it'll challenge the Commodore. We will have to wait and see. So it is off to the Devil's Corners hill climb with our Ford, where I am going to get 3 runs to try and go as fast as possible. Its main target is, of course, that Commodore, a 157.7. The Volvo, though, at the front of the table is a 57.0. So if we can get it into the 57s, we will be doing pretty damn well. And I do think that this Commodore certainly stands a chance of going pretty well. But just noticed the revs, the needle will sit at the top of the meter pretty much all the time with this Lamborghini engine in here. It's a little bit of a strange Ford, I'll be honest, having a Lamborghini V12. However, it is pretty quick and actually not too bad to drive. There's a fair bit of understeer, although everything has struggled to get the car turned. Just everything. I mean, the Volvo wasn't too bad. The Countach was pretty good, as was the Donkavort and so on. All of these good cars, but they're all a little bit of a faff to get the front end of the cars turned into these corners. Come on Ford, we can make it. There we go. We are around and accelerate away. How fast are we going to be in a straight line? We're not going to be the fastest, I don't think. In fact, no, we are not. 118 miles an hour, and I'm on the brakes, just about making the corner. It is a bit on the heavier side, I'll be honest. It is, power to weight ratio wise, it is nowhere near that of the Volvo. It's been a little bit scruffy as well so far on this run. A nice enough car to drive though, and I'm hoping that it is, well, it hasn't got the greatest power to weight ratio. It is plenty of acceleration to keep it in contention, because it does feel pretty good through these corners. Again, we clip the post on the inside ever so slightly. Do we have... Oh, we do. Actually, we have a lot of grip through there. I might have actually missed... I did miss that checkpoint. I didn't actually mean to press rewind, but there we go. Yeah, we missed the checkpoint. Oh, although, and trying to counter it's all gone. It actually got so much grip, I was turning in expecting just to be flat out, and we turned in too much. How are we over the icy straight? Pretty good. We haven't got... Oh, I've got that line all... That's a mess as well. I've not done very well on this opening run, and it's not the car's fault. I have just mispositioned and tried to carry speed in places I shouldn't be. So, yeah, a terrible, terrible opening run from the Ford. However, speed-wise, I'm thinking it is looking pretty promising. I'm thinking it is very promising in this car. Also, Kitten is still jumping around on the microphone stand at the moment. I'm hoping that that's not going to make any vibrations. It shouldn't. It looks like the waveforms are okay. Cat, you are a silly cat. You are a really, really silly cat. So, on to our second run. Kitten distraction is out of the way. There's a wheeling bowler ghost for good luck, again, I hope. And the Ford shall tackle this course once more. 118 miles an hour into turn 1. Pretty good. Again, yeah, not the fastest accelerating car we have seen, however, up there. It's up there with, as a decent speed car, and I think, much like we saw with the Lancia Stratos in many ways. You know, the Stratos wasn't the most powerful, and it wasn't the quickest, but it could maintain corner speed very, very well, and this car does feel like it is carrying decent enough speed through here. and we have the traction that when we get out of the corners, or, you know, all-wheel drive cars, sure, you would expect to be able to deal with 700 horsepower, but we are on snow, and quite a few of the less grippy cars, shall we say, have had a lot of struggles putting their power down to the road, and that is not an issue with this Ford. Big tyres would certainly be helping, although the Volvo put a lot of power down with relatively small tyres. I don't know how the Volvo did it. I'm pretty sure the Volvo is magic. 103 miles an hour across the jump we go. Chuck it in to the hairpin. Try and get away with carrying speed as and where you can. Still, we fly up towards the hairpin a little bit early on the brakes. From me, that time around. Brakes are pretty damn good in this car, I will say that much. We're going to run a smidge wide, but not too far wide, so we're not really losing time there. And we are going to be flat out this time. Through that corner, onto the icy straight we go. Now, don't turn in too soon. It's very tempting to try and turn in a little bit earlier to get a quick run through the corner, but if you do, you'll end up on the ice patch, and that is not where you want to be. That's a big bounce on the landing for the car. You don't quite appreciate just how bumpy that section is until you get a car like this that's not too keen on it. Around the final turn we go. I think that was a 58.0. That's more a 58.1, in fact. That's more like it. That's more like it from the Ford. It's a little scruffy in a couple of places, I think. It's going to be very, very close between this and the Commodore. Well, this is it. The Ford versus Holden rivalry comes down to the final run with the Falcon. We need to find sort of 0.4 of a second if we are to go faster than that Commodore. It might just be doable with a nice, neat run in this car. I don't think it's quite. Oh, as we head out towards the wall, I'm trying to carry all of the speed I can. I don't think we've quite got the performance to beat the Volvo. I might be wrong though. If we get a mega good run, I just don't think we've quite got the speed to keep up with that. The Volvo was more powerful, less weight, and very good through the corners as well. So I don't think we quite have the performance on the Volvo, but we might just have the performance on the Commodore. The Holden was lighter, but this has got a bit more power. Admittedly, a little bit cheating with a Lamborghini engine, but you know, if the Ford standard engine could get enough power, then that would be fine, but it can't. So we have had to go for a Lamborghini unit in it. Yeah, better run so far. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with this one. We're getting speed out of the turns, which is always nice. Can get it slowed for the hairpin. Now, don't slide the car around, because we're not going to find any speed that way. Be brave on the brakes into the hairpin, because the car will get stopped, even though it is a little bit on the heavier side. In fact, it is relatively heavy for a car going up this course, but it is still good under braking. Again, those big tyres, I have no doubt, helping us out. There we go. That's more like it. Flat out through that corner. In fact, that was a mega run now onto the icy straight. Keep everything under control. And again, very neat from the Falcon. That's very fast. In fact, we've got a mega final sector if we don't get bounced around too much. It was, a little bit rough on the landing as we come around these final corners. Or struggle to get on the power. Oh, it's quick. It's very quick indeed. 57.2 from the Ford. If we hadn't just got that little bit bounced around, I think, on the way into the penultimate corner, we might have got. I don't know if we got quicker than the Volvo. It was close. We did get a bit of a slide out of the final turn as well. It was very fast. That was all the sort of coming onto the icy straight and off the icy straight were absolutely spot on for the Falcon there. It will go into second place on our table, fractionally. And I do mean fractionally beating out the Lancia Stratos a couple of in fact, exactly 0.2 down on the 242 Turbo. Beats the Lamborghini Countach, beats the Donkervoort, and importantly, beats the Commodore. That's a hell of a car. That is a very good car for getting up this course. I'm very surprised by the V12 as an engine swap option for the Falcon. I mean, I can understand the V8s and so on, but Lamborghini V12 in a Falcon, I don't quite know. I'm not going to complain, though, because it actually does mean we can get a half-decent amount of power. I do wish with some of these cars' standard engines we could get more power out of them. Some of them do feel very underpowered in some ways, and yeah, this Falcon's V8 just wasn't particularly amazing. like to be able to get comparative horsepower at least between this and the Commodore, but 'twas not to be. Yeah, you might argue a little bit cheating perhaps in some ways. The Falcon with a Lamborghini powered car beating the Commodore. Admittedly, the Commodore, had not that much less horsepower than the Ford and was a bit lighter, but in the end, the Ford, I think, a little bit better through the corners. Only for actually, the top of this table is ridiculously close. There is, 8/10 of a second between now first and 6th place, and that's it. This has been by far one of the closest builds series I've ever done in terms of vehicles. Yeah, sure, there is 3 or 4 seconds between, first and, let's say, 20th, but that's still pretty close overall for some very crazy cars thrown in there. So, yeah, pretty good show, really, from everything, quite frankly. This Ford, I do very much like. I do very much like the Ford. Nice car to drive. Decently quick. However, the Volvo will still stay top of the table. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.